clothes, wakes up every day and makes a cup of hand-ground coffee 500 grams, no more, no less, and then she puts a lemon slice on it and deliver it to the owner of the mansion. Here she is responsible only to Mike, even in the plainest of clothes. Mary's elegance and beauty could not be hidden. Mike had a cousin who was not a good sport. He took an instant liking to Mary. He thought that if he waved his hand, Mary would jump into his arms, but he was met with strong resistance. He was even discovered by Mike. He even went so far as to teach his cousin a lesson for Mary. He even announced in front of everyone that in this mansion, no one can bully Mary except him. However, even though Mike stepped in time, but it still hurt Mary a lot. She kept thinking back to what she had just seen. Did she deserve this kind of humiliation just because she was from a lowly background? Did she deserve to be humiliated like that? She went to the bathroom alone. She washed every inch of her skin with great effort. Just then the maid brought a change of clothes. Mike had asked her to bring them. It was a bit of a surprise to Mary. When she was dressed, she found Mike alone, but when they were together, Mike reverted to his old attitude. I urge you to forget about that scene. I'm not trying to protect you. Although he knew what his cousin was like, but still deliberately said, don't think that just because you're pretty, you can use men to escape from the mansion. And that's exactly what hit Mary's bottom. She raised her arm to hit Mike, but Mike grabbed it with one hand. At that moment, they looked at each other. Mary had a fearless look in her eyes. I'd rather be your slave for the rest of my life to atone for my sins, than to use someone like your cousin. And then she left with a flourish. Mike was shocked by this statement. It seemed that what he had just said was a bit too much. Mary returned to her room in a daze. She hated herself for her incompetence. She knew she couldn't blame Mike for this. If she hadn't sent the poison cake in the first place, Mike's sister wouldn't have died of poisoning. But she did not know first. How else could this tragedy have happened? But she wasn't the only one who was torn.